here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the major level of support that Bitcoin absolutely needs to hold, because right now, Bitcoin has found itself trading sideways over the last 14 days or so, and based on all of the fundamentals and technicals that we're looking at, we are expecting that November is going to be a very bullish month, but there are also some analysts that are saying that we could go as low as 55,000 or even lower, so we're going to be looking at both sides today. As always, we're going to be bringing you the bullish technicals and the bullish perspective on the Bitcoin market today, and then we're also going to be looking at the bearish perspective, the bearish technicals, and trying to come to a conclusion. Where is Bitcoin heading next? I am joined, as always, by my co-host, T.A. Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I am doing great, and I am going to start off the show with a challenge.
Oop.
And so he says I was close because I pronounced his name Eamon Ward. Shout out to Eamon. But is the name Eamon wrong, or is the name... Ward, Ward is pretty self-explanatory.
You think Ward would be that, yeah. Eamon Ward said, I'm here for Tim to say my name.
I mean, is the E silent and it's Eamon? But, I mean, I don't know. You know,
Eamon Ward? Might be Eamon Ward.
You know, he said close and then laughed at me, so that's not a good sign. Either way, I'm here, and I'm ready for the day.
Well, we're also joined by T. Shroom, as always. How you doing, T?
I'm doing great. Pleasure to be here as always. Ready to dive right on into the TA and
there
learn
you
something.
go. Yeah. How about that? Learning a little bit of a thing or two. Guys, we got a great show lined up for you today, and today's show is brought to you by Cipher. It's one of the indicators that we use literally every single day here on the channel. If you want to sign up, we got a link down below. You absolutely should get it. It is going to be an addition to your analysis. Tim, what are you most excited for in today's show? Because you actually helped to plan the show.
I did. It's been a minute since I've got to be involved in the details of the planning. It was fun getting to look at the articles and think through them, and you get to talk with T. Shroom. And for anyone wondering why Smay is not here today, he is not sick again. He had a birthday last week, which is why he got sick, I think. But his dad took him to that Orlando versus Boston game.
Oof.
And the Celtics won. So
they
Smay,
did.
If you're watching, congratulations.
There you go.
Even though your superstar played like poop. Anyway, that's why he's not here. But getting to work with T. Shroom and bounce concepts off, it's very satisfying to look at things and have a narrative and then find the evidence that backs up that narrative to explain why your opinion or your thought was right. And so I'm really excited to break down, not only from a technical standpoint, why Bitcoin is about to do really well, even from a fundamental standpoint. Hey, there's a lot of support. Do not believe every FUD article you see. And I'm really excited to be able to help people kind of weed through all the crap to find what they really need to make informed, educated, good decisions.
I love that. I love it, Tim. Well, let's go ahead and help people make some informed, educated, and good decisions. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. It helps to promote this video in the algorithm, and also consider subscribing if you haven't already. It looks like we're about to hit 200K subs. Absolutely mind-blowing. I remember how freaked out I got when I first got to 5 subscribers, and now we're about to hit 200K, fifth of the way to 1 million. I'm super excited for that, guys. Thank you so much for your support. It is very, very, very much appreciated. You have changed our lives here at the Crypto Jebb team. With that said, let's go ahead and jump onto the chart. Let's do some TA. I know that's what you guys are here for. Let's first start off with the bullish TA on the daily chart. Very first thing I want to show you on the daily chart that is bullish has to do with the MACD. The MACD is a little bit red over the last 24 hours on the daily chart, but in general, the MACD is starting to round to the upside, and that's very bullish because we're actually sitting very far up here above the zero line. You can see I'm looking at the last 2 years of pricing data back here. You can see this is going back as far as 2019. This is actually one of the highest points that MACD has ever been, and if we were to have a bullish cross up here as a result of some of this rounding, this would, as far as I can tell, be literally the highest actual cross that has ever happened on MACD. Now, there was a tiny one up here, but that's a bit of a fluke, and the reason I would say that is because we crossed bullish, yes, but then we immediately crossed bearish. So other than that, the next highest MACD cross that I can see in history of Bitcoin was back here on March the 9th, 2021. If Bitcoin does actually continue to round and have a bullish cross, this will actually be record-setting, and that would be a very good thing for the bulls as we're attempting to push here back above all-time high. The next thing to show you is on the RSI. The RSI is currently setting higher highs and higher lows. You can see that there was a low here on 50 at 52, then at 56, and then at least so far today, we're sitting at about 56 and a half. So we don't know that that's going to be a higher low just yet because the day is not over, but in general, we do see an uptrend forming here on the RSI. Same thing happening with the levels of resistance and the The tops up here, we first saw a top on the 29th of October at 60, and then we saw another one a couple days later on the 2nd at 61. So that's a good sign. RSI is trending to the upline, up to the upside, I should say. The other thing that I want to show you guys is that there is this long-term uptrending level of support that Bitcoin has been interacting with for quite some time. It dates all the way back to January of this year, and we have touches all over the place. All over the place, we have touched this uptrending level of support. And right now, at least, Bitcoin is attempting to hold above that same level of support. You can see it coming through the market right here. We've been below it, we've been above it, but right now we're sitting just above it, and that is a bullish thing. We definitely want to stay up here. Now, I'm going to go to a cleaner chart, and I want to show you some candlestick analysis. You guys know that reading the candlesticks, looking into what the candle wicks are saying, looking into how the candles are formed, is actually a very important part of analysis. It's called Japanese candlestick analysis. It dates back almost 200 years back to rice farming in Japan, and it's a very insightful way to understand what the market is doing. The thing I want to point out here is that yesterday's candlestick had a very long lower wick. Take a look at this lower wick right here. Bitcoin pulled all the way back on November the 3rd from where it opened at $63,250 all the way down to $60,200. This long lower shadow right here, as it's called, it can be called a lower wick or a lower shadow. Those two terms are interchangeable. It pulled Bitcoin back $2,500 or 4%. You might think, okay, Jebb, well, why is that bullish if Bitcoin had such a major drop? Well, the reason that I would consider this to be bullish is because what this basically means is that the bears pushed us very far to the downside, and then the bulls completely recovered us. That's what I've been saying recently with some of these large lower wicks like we've seen on these 6 days that I just highlighted. There has been a lot of bearish activity, but the bulls have managed to pull that back. The other thing to keep in mind is that we did see a spinning top over here on November the 1st, which in the same way we talk about a wick, meaning that whatever direction it was pointing in, the opposite faction has the strength. We had a high upward wick here on the 1st, and then a very large lower wick here on the 1st as well. This is called a spinning top. It signals indecision in the market. The bulls got rejected here. The bears got rejected here. It means that we don't have a clearly defined faction that is in charge of the market. We had a big green day on the 2nd, and then the last 2 days we've had a lot of red. Essentially what we're reading here from the Japanese candlestick analysis is that we are trying to enter an uptrend, but it is a very hard-fought battle. The bulls and the bears are at a standstill right now, and we have not seen either one of them come out on top. At one moment, it looks like the bulls are winning. At another moment, it looks like the bears are winning. At the moment, we are simply not decided because we are in a range. We are not in a trend. What we are hoping and praying for is that Bitcoin will enter some kind of trend, because quite frankly, when Bitcoin is trending either up or down, it's far more interesting and, by the way, far more profitable than it is right now when it's trading sideways. So we're hoping that that is going to break out sometime soon. The other thing I want to show you here is on the VPVR. If you take a look at the VPVR, you can still see that we are on top of the hill. Take a look at VPVR here. You guys know I like to use the analogy of VPVR being a hill and the market is a ball. The ball likes to roll down the hill in one of two directions because there's more gravitational potential energy at the top, and then that gets turned into kinetic energy as you move to the downside. The physics side of me from high school is coming out. Bitcoin right now is on the bullish side of the hill. We want it to continue rolling down the bullish side of the hill, but for it to do that, then we need to hold that support that we talked about yesterday, which is really a zone between 61,300, 61,800. Right now we're at 61,826. So we're good at the moment, but we want to maintain that. Moving on down to the 4-hourly chart, we can see that there is an uptrending channel right now that Bitcoin is still holding in. We have an uptrend right here and an uptrend right here. If I go ahead and draw that, basically what Bitcoin is doing is, just as we saw on RSI earlier, we are setting higher highs and higher lows. And this basically means that the market is, yeah, I would say it's still in an overall range, but inside of this overall sideways range, we're actually trying to enter an uptrend. It's a very weak uptrend. It doesn't have a lot of confidence. It doesn't have a lot of power, but it is technically in existence. And right now, Bitcoin is attempting to hold support down here around 61,300. Ding, 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 ding. That's the same level we were talking about before, having to do with the VPVR. And it also shows up here on this uptrend. If we hold 61,300, this is what we said yesterday, it's going to be a very good thing for the market. We should be hoping, I don't know if we should be expecting, we're going to get to whether we should expect that here in a little bit, But we should very much be hoping that Bitcoin is going to bounce around 61,300 and manage to maintain this uptrend. If it doesn't, it's definitely not going to be what we want to see. Now, taking a look here at the TD sequential, we have a green candlestick green, and green means go, green means good. I call it a green candlestick just because it indicates that the market is bottoming out. If you don't know what TD sequential is, we talk about it all the time over in CT2A. The link for that is down below. That's our academy where we teach you guys TA. But essentially what TD sequential is it's a candlestick counting algorithm. It counts from 1 to 9, and whenever it gets to 9, it means that a reversal should be coming soon. You can see that it hit 9 down here, and we had what I call a green 9 happen, and then Bitcoin moved into an uptrend. Well, we just saw the same thing happen right here, and following history, we should be expecting the market to bounce and rally as a result of that green 9 flash. We are very much looking forward to what's going to happen over the next 12 hours or so, hoping and praying that green 9 flash is going to give us some upwards momentum. Now, we also want to take a look here at this. There was a very large kind of scam wick that happened a little while ago. This is what we were seeing on the daily chart, but now we're looking at with a little bit more resolution. We can see that this scam wick right here dropped Bitcoin all the way down from $62,000 to $60,000. And if I can bring up my, let's see, I can bring up a little bit later on the show, I will bring up my liquidation charts and try and see if there was a major liquidation event that happened over there. But I have a feeling there was, and I have a feeling that was some manipulation. We've seen a lot of manipulation recently as far as I'm concerned. What we saw back here on the 28th of October, I can't prove it, but I have a feeling that this was a manipulated event where the market had a major correction and a lot of people got liquidated. We saw something similar happen right over here on the 31st, which was Halloween. I think there is manipulation going on in this market, testing to see, hey, can we bottom out this market and cause it to drop because we, the institutions, or as Tim says, the composite man, wants to crash the market so that they can buy more Bitcoin. And what's happening? Well, we're setting higher lows despite that seeming manipulation. As I said, I can't prove the manipulation. It's very rare that you can, but you can kind of get a feel for it. If it's not there, it's not there. I don't want to wear a tinfoil hat, but it's just something that you want to keep an eye on because it definitely does happen. I wouldn't put it past any one of these major institutions to do a thing like that. Now, one of the final things I want to look at here is there is a bullish RSI divergence forming. And let me find it real quick. There's bullish RSI divergence forming right here. You can see that there's an uptrend on the price action on these lower lows, and then also a downtrend on the RSI down here, forming lower lows and higher lows for the price, lower lows for the RSI. That is bullish RSI divergence, and it is a very encouraging thing for the cryptocurrency market. One final thing to look at here before we jump into our Lux Algo TA is that you can see there was quite a bit of volume that came in when we had this major dump yesterday where Bitcoin dropped pretty quickly down to $60,000. And by the way, the reason I'm saying that I think this is manipulation, this happened literally in the middle of a pretty strong uptrend. And then the uptrend just kind of excuse me, just kind of fell over as this happened. This makes no sense other than somebody literally trying to stop the market from rallying. So, you know, as I said, again, I don't want to be one of the people that just says manipulation, manipulation, manipulation. I think people cry manipulation every single time. I think there are some people that cry manipulation every single time that the market doesn't do what they expected it was going to do. I'm not trying to be that guy, but at the same time, we would be unwise not to recognize that it is a fact of life here in the cryptocurrency markets, and it is in every single market. The world is not all sunshine and rainbows as we all wish it was. Anyway, moving on to the daily chart. I'm going to show you guys some Market Cipher TA. As I said today, as I said earlier, guys, today's show is brought to you by Market Cipher. It's one of my favorite. It's one of the indicators that I use every single day in my lineup. And if you want to sign up for Market Cipher, if you find it useful, you can check the link out down below. Now, the first thing we're going to do here on the daily charts, we're going to look at Market Cipher B, which is one of the pieces of this indicator package. What we're seeing right now is that this line right here, which represents the money flow, this kind of tells you how much money is, as the name suggests, how much money is flowing into or out of the market. Right now, there is a consistently high amount of money coming into the market. We've seen that for the last month or so. Money flow on the daily charts actually been pretty high consistently. We have not been red on the money flow for quite some time. And when we were, by the way, just doing some historical analysis, we were only red on the money flow during these time periods right here. What was going on during these time periods? Well, people were exiting the market. So it makes a lot of sense. This part of the indicator is incredibly helpful. The money flow right now is still relatively high, but it is stagnant. And essentially what that's telling us is that, yes, there's more money coming into the market, which is a good thing, but there's not a lot of new flows coming into the market. There is the amount of new flows coming into the market is not necessarily increasing, is the way that you would read that. Now we can also see that the RSIs are sitting up here in this kind of sideways movement. We can see that there was a green dot. I believe it's kind of hard to see. Actually, there was a red dot, and then there was a rally here on the momentum. That is theoretically a good thing. We're seeing a kind of a bowl shape here form on the momentum, which are these blue bands right here. That's a good sign. It means that there's a reversal moving in the direction for the bulls. And then our VWAP down here is pushing to the downside. Essentially what Market Cipher is telling us right now, especially considering the DBSI, which is another part of Market Cipher, gives us these different numbers. Essentially what it's telling us right now is that Bitcoin is in a sideways range and that it needs to break out of that, but it hasn't yet done that. So we're not really getting much of a signal as we're getting confirmation that we're trading sideways, which is, I mean, that's kind of the best you can do because that's exactly what Bitcoin is doing. So if an indicator tells you, oh, well, Bitcoin's trading sideways and it's trading sideways, well, what do you expect? You want to tell you something other than what it's actually doing is telling you the right thing. Let's move on down here to the 4-hourly chart. We'll run through this real quick. Now, the 4-hourly Market Cipher is actually giving us a much more clear signal. You can kind of see if I switch back and forth between the daily, this is the daily loading right here. You can see everything's kind of trading sideways, but then we jump on down here to the 4-hourly chart. Everything's kind of trending to the downside. I hope you see the difference there. That is because the 4-hourly chart is in an actual trend, whereas the daily chart is in a range. On the 4-hourly chart, we've been consistently moving to the downside for the last 36 hours. That's not the case on the daily chart, where for the last 12 candlesticks, we've been basically moving sideways. On the 4-hourly Market Cipher, we can see that we had a red dot back over here on momentum. That is on the November the 2nd, and we had a major correction as a result. You can also see that the RSIs are pushing to the downside down here into what's known as the bearish control zone, down below this middle line around 60 and around 50. We can also see that the VWAP, which is this line down here, is down below the zero level. That is the volume-weighted average price. All my stock traders out there, I know that is one of your favorite indicators. It is an indication that the market is either... There's a lot of different ways you can read VWAP, but basically it means that the market is a little bit more oversold than you might. It's a little bit below the baseline is how a stock trader might say that. And we can also see that the money flow has moved to the downside. This, you might look at this and say this is a sell setup. I would say if you were looking for a sell setup, the sell setup was like right over here. Like, what was that, about 5-6 candlesticks ago on the 4-hourly chart. Now we're kind of getting to the bottom, so I'd be careful of taking this as a sell signal right now. It's kind of like the aftermath of a sell signal. You would be... I don't think it's a good idea to read this right now as a sell signal. This is more of a thing like, okay, now we're bearish. Let's see if we can start having a buy signal. I'm not actually looking for a sell signal on 4-hourly chart Market Cipher because it's basically already come in and it basically told us, hey, we're entering a downtrend, which, hey, presto, that's exactly what happened. If we take a look here at Market Cipher DBSI, we can see that our numbers up here on the top are very large and our numbers down here on the bottom are very small. What does that mean? Well, the larger the number, it means the more pressure. If there is a large number on top, then that means that there is bearish pressure. If there's a large number on the bottom, then that means that there is bullish pressure. If there's a very low number like -5, think of that as like a vacuum or a gravitational pull. It's like pulling the market towards the direction of that small number, and the big number is like on the same magnet, kind of pushing something away, like get away from me, like all the girls I tried to date in high school. That's kind of like what that is, right? That's what those big numbers are doing. That little bit of a self-roast there. We got to keep it interesting. Bitcoin right now is having a correction on its 4-hourly chart, and DBSI is telling us that. Moving on down here to the hourly chart, we can take a look here at the momentum. The momentum has had a green dot, and that means that momentum is curving around, and we are attempting to move to the upside. The RSI is pretty flat, and the money flow is down while the VWAP is going up. But we're kind of getting a mixed signal down here in the hourly chart. It's telling us that, hey, we might be in the very, very early stages of a bullish setup, but we don't have a whole lot of confirmation on that just yet. Now, with that said, guys, we are going to go to full screen, and we are going to cover a couple of news stories right quick. I'm just going to read a couple of headlines, just kind of throw some of this stuff out here, and then we're going to discuss a little bit more of this a little bit later. We're on full screen, right?
We are.
Awesome. Cool. So I'm going to read directly here from some of my notes just so you guys can kind of see what we're talking about. The first thing we want to talk about is India's second most valuable IT firm, Paytm, is thinking about launching Bitcoin trading if cryptocurrency is legalized. You guys know that India has been having mixed reactions to the cryptocurrency market over the last couple of years, but it seems like they're hopefully now moving in the direction of endorsing cryptocurrency. There are many people that would say that the reason that they're doing that is because their neighbor and rival, China, is opposed to crypto, so they might want to choose the other side, because if China's not going to get the benefits from cryptocurrency, then India might want to, and hopefully India sees the ability that cryptocurrency can bring to bring India up to speed with the rest of the world. India is a very, very, very fast developing nation. And I'm very happy for the nation for that. The market capitalization of this IT firm is $16 billion, and they're a multinational technology company that specializes in digital payment systems, e-commerce, and finance. That would be a pretty big deal for the Indian ecosystem if we did see that happen. Now, I actually want to jump over here and read an article really quickly here because there are a few different charts that I want to show you. Bitcoin whales prepare for the mega bull run. U.S. Congressman's back spot Bitcoin ETF. And it's interesting because T. Shroom actually has had the pleasure of speaking to one of these congressmen, Darren Soto. Isn't that right, T. Shroom?
That's correct. Yeah.
We'll talk about him here in a little bit.
In a different context, but he's a cool guy.
Yeah. So we can look here at some of these charts. Just want to give you a couple of on-chain metrics and updates. If we look here at the illiquid supply of Bitcoin, this is basically a measure of how much Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has come off of exchanges and how much of the cryptocurrency is still what you might call in liquid supply, where it's actually being traded. Essentially, what we're seeing right now is that over 14 million, almost 15 million of the total amount of Bitcoin in existence are right now locked up in long-term holdings, and it means that we are seeing a very low liquid supply. What does that mean? It means that the supply has gone down, while guess what? The demand for Bitcoin is higher than ever. What does that mean? Well, if you know anything about economics, that's like economics 101. Supply's low, demand's high. We've seen demand go up in the last 3 months. Yes, do you disagree? No, I think we would agree demand's gone up. Supply has gone down. We can see right here from this chart, it's gone down by several 100,000 Bitcoin, which is not a negligible amount. We're talking tens of billions of dollars worth of supply pulled off of exchanges where people can't touch it. That is going to mean the price is going to go up. It's a pretty big deal. Now, there's a couple more things I want to talk about over here. If we look here at sentiment feed, we can see that Bitcoin has had 5 straight days, excluding historically slow weekends, of over 1 million active addresses interacting on the Bitcoin network. Take a look at this chart. You can see that there has been a massive amount of interaction on the blockchain, despite the corrections that we've seen over the last week and a half to 2 weeks. We're still seeing quite a bit of action going on, and we're seeing this trend line that you can see right here move to the upside ever since July, when we saw active addresses going down. We had an average of around 850,000. Now we're up to nearly 1 million every single day. It's a very, very bullish thing. Now, that is all I really want to talk about right now. We're going to move into a short intermission, and then we're going to move into our bearish segment, and we're going to discuss some more of this a little bit later. But guys, essentially what we're looking at right now is pretty much the same thing that we say every single day here. Sometimes I feel like a broken record. Bitcoin right now is in a range. We're waiting for that range to break. We do think that that range is going to break relatively soon, and the bullish fundamentals right now are absolutely overwhelming, and whether we have a bullish November or not, the next several months are going to be absolutely explosive, in my humble opinion. If you're enjoying today's show, consider hitting the like button, and also check out our sponsor, Market Cipher. The link is in the description box down below. Let's read some super chats.
Yeah, the first thing is we have a new Jebb youngling on our membership group called, his name is APZ, so welcome so much. For those of you who don't know, if this is your first time here, we do have a membership team you can join and be a part of that. If you don't want to, no pressure. But we do want to welcome and honor APZ. Thank you so much for being a part of that team. Moving on, we have some great names here. Chocolate Hobnob donated saying, love the show and the TA. I love, those of you who are also new, part of the fragment of the show that people love is my massive mispronunciation of names. I feel like I'm getting better, but I do love creative names like Chocolate Hobnob. But he said, love the show and the TA. Please take a quick look at Telecoin chart. Let me know your thoughts. Peace. I don't know if we're going to look at that. I would be surprised if we have time. But just so you know, love the name and thank you for the donation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving on. We do have one from 4 by Grace saying Hebrews 7:19 says, for the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by which we drew nigh unto God.
Amen.
Moving forward, we have one from Desert Crypto saying, I think Smay is hung over again. Seen his pick. I think he meant pick. It said puke, but I don't
puke.
Mean,
Seeing his puke.
His pick on Twitter with a beer, Coughing Crypto, LFG. Let's have a great day, gents. Yeah, no, I just responded to that Twitter. I saw it too, and so if you guys want to go to Twitter,
if you guys want to go see Smay having a beer, hey, he does have a beer.
He does.
What's that?
He does. Yes.
Cool.
And for those of you who know, like someone asked in chat, like, did Tim take him out again? And let's just focus on that word again. Tim didn't do it the first time.
I just saw you respond to him on Twitter. Tim responded to him and said, pull up my screen real quick. I want to show this. Tim responded to him. You can't see it because it's off screen, but
nice.
He said, we taking you to an AA meeting when you get past me.
Yeah. Listen,
That's awesome.
And Altcoins
Anyone
Anonymous
can drink. I don't drink. First of all, is the reason why I would never take him out.
That makes one of us.
Yeah. So and it has nothing to do with like I don't frown on people that drink. I think that it tastes disgusting. So that's just me. To each his own at that point.
Well, I bet beer makes you taste disgusting, Tim.
But getting crazy drunk, which Smay never got crazy drunk. Hey, Anyway, we'll keep moving on. By the way, Piano Matty B is in chat and gave a super chat. So shout out to Piano Matty B. For those of you who don't know, he does a lot of stuff with BitBoy. Does he do?
Oh, hey, yeah,
Does he do it every morning or is it just every?
I think it's every morning.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure it's every morning.
That's creative. Listen, first of all, that's a talent.
Dude can play
Matty
piano.
B,
That's solid.
to play the piano and to say a narrative. To speak a narrative, because here's the thing about music is it's rhythmatic.
Yeah.
So if you're not speaking or singing with the rhythm that you're playing,
that's very
your
difficult.
Brain is now doing two different things.
Yeah, that's hard.
So shout out to the talent of Piano Matty B.
Yep.
How many likes do you need to do another rap from Jebb?
Jebb.
MC
Jebb. 10,000.
I think
we
my
get
brain is-
10,000 likes on this stream, I will rap.
Gosh,
I'm putting
10,000?
it that high because I know it's not going to happen.
How far are we from 10,000?
We are 9,300 from 10,000.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot to go, but we do have 2,600 people.
We got 2,600 people.
And only 600 likes.
Hit like
We can
button.
easily get that to 1,200 before
Oh, yeah,
this
we can do
segment
that.
is wrapped up. We'll get a couple more here, and then we'll jump back in to some more TA. But Brett says, morning, guys. Has the possibility of a massive double top been invalidated by the technicals at this point?
I wouldn't say that it's been invalidated, but I think it is and the reason I wouldn't say it's been invalidated is because I don't believe in things being invalidated. I think it's very, technical analysis is not you're never going to get a 100% certain answer from TA. It just doesn't work that way. And to say that something is invalidated is saying this is a 100% certainty that it's not going to happen. So I take issue with the idea of invalidation because you can't invalidate something because you don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, you can only say something is invalidated if you have historical precedent in hindsight. Anyway, my point is, I don't think we're going to double top. I think the technicals don't say that we're going to double top, and I think that the fundamentals absolutely say we're not going to double top. I just showed you some of them with the supply going down, demand going up. Basic supply side economics says that the price should be going up. It is going up. I think we're going to see that continue.
Last one to read in this segment, it is also from Brett because it's a follow-up question, then we'll jump back on. He said, follow-up question, could this recent meme coin frenzy stall us out similar to the scenario in May? God bless you guys.
Absolutely it can. And the reason that it could, although I don't think it's going to, but the reason that it could is because whenever you have a bunch of people getting into the cryptocurrency market and getting freaking burned, you know what they do? They leave crypto and they go and tell all their friends that, hey, I got scammed in crypto. It's almost like, you go to a restaurant and like, they hire like 3 waitresses / waiters, and like they're just jerks. Like they're just really mean. They're not being mean because the customers were. They're just mean people, right? You know how hard it is to get a new customer in the door? Very hard. We know this because we're a business with like 16 employees. We know how hard that is. You know how easy it is to piss somebody off and to get them to go and tell their all their friends about how much something sucks? It's very easy. So if we are turning people away from crypto because they're getting absolutely wrecked in meme coins, they're going to go tell 10 friends, hey, yeah, I tried that crypto thing and I lost my life savings because I got encouraged by some of these influencers to go and put everything in Dogecoin, right? So absolutely it could. I don't think it's going to. I think it is actually, not speaking from an ethical standpoint, but from a simple, inflows, outflows standpoint, probably a beneficial thing for the crypto market because a bunch of new money is coming into the space. But a lot of that new money that's coming into the space is not very, how would I say, loyal money. It came in trying to get rich quick, and then it's going to leave as soon as you realize, wait a second, I actually can't get rich quick. Bitcoin has a lot of gains, but it still takes experience. I'm going to go watch television. We might see a lot of people leave the cryptocurrency space for that reason. So fantastic question. Hopefully that was a suitable answer.
Yeah. All right, let's jump back into our show, and we'll come back to some more super chats a little bit later.
Let's do it, guys. If you were enjoying today's show, hit that like button. We got 3,000 people watching. I know we can get to 1,500 likes here in the next little bit. Let's jump back onto my screen. We're going to do some bearish TA because it is important that we show you guys both sides of the story. It is not our goal to give you one narrative and not show you the other. We want to make sure that you guys walk away from this with as much crystal clear information as you possibly can so that you can be informed. It is not our goal to like clickbait you and lead you in the wrong direction. We want you guys to walk away from this feeling educated, feeling like, hey, I know what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. I am prepared for the day. That's our mission with this show. If you are a supporter of that, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the bearish side of things. Right now, the RSI is in a general uptrend, as we talked about earlier, but last 3 days are in a general downtrend. This is one of these things we talk about where you can have a trend within a trend. It is very possible for me to say, hey, we're bullish and we're bearish. I say that quite a bit, actually, and I don't have a problem with saying that. You know why? Because you can be bearish on the next 24 hours and bullish for the next 7 days. Because you can be bearish in the middle of something. The market's very zigzaggy. It almost it's a wave. There are different waves within the wave. So you can be bearish for the next day, but in general, for the next 7 days, you're going to be bullish, even though that first day is bearish. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. The last 7 days have been generally bullish, but the last 2 days have been generally bearish. It does mean that the bears are in charge right now, but of course, we have strong support beneath us around 61,300. If we hold that, all's going to be well. Nothing to be concerned about there as far as I'm concerned. Now, let's take a look at the Bollinger Bands, because the Bollinger Bands are remarkably important. We have seen them constrict quite a bit. And if you guys are wondering, why does Bitcoin seem kind of boring right now? Why does there not seem to be a lot going on in the cryptocurrency YouTube space right now? Why does it seem like, you know, it's just a little bit dry in crypto? This is why the Bollinger Bands really give you an idea. The volatility is low. Volatility is everything. It's the fuel that drives the market. Volatility, volume, retail investor interest. I've been saying those three things for like 3.5 years that we've been running this channel. Volatility is declining. Volume is declining. Retail investor interest is at a local high, but in the last week, it's been declining. It's a very fickle thing, retail investor interest. And the basic gist of what I'm getting at here is that we've dropped below and tried to penetrate below the 20 line, the middle line here on the Bollinger Bands. And that is, you might say, okay, we're holding support on it. But here's the deal. Whenever you come down here and test the Bollinger Band center line over and over and over again, as we saw in August, and then the same thing that we saw back over here in February, March, April, May, we test it over and over and over again. A lot of times that signals that the bulls are losing their strength and losing their momentum. So I'm hoping that we can get away from this center line, see some more volatility come in towards the middle part of November, and then we're going to be fine. But for right now, we are not exactly where I want to be. I want to see a little bit more bullishness come into this space. It's like, come on, guys. I know a lot of people are breaking even right now because they bought back in May and they're selling. I think that's part of what's driving this. And I know there's some manipulation trying to crash the market before one final run to the upside when we get to 100K. It's going to be fine. The rest of this year, I firmly believe, is going to be very bullish, but I think it is going to take time for us to get there. Now, one of the other things I want to show you is down on the 4-hourly chart, and that has to do with the MACD. The MACD has had a bearish cross. However, showing you both sides of the story, we actually have seen a little bit of rounding action happen over the last candlestick. Reason for that is because over the last few hours, we are setting a bullish engulfing candlestick formation. This is a bullish candlestick formation. I would have shown you this in the earlier segment, but this had not happened yet in the earlier segment. So I'm showing it to you now, even though we're on the bearish segment. This bullish engulfing candlestick formation is a good thing. But again, remember, in general, we're in a downtrend, and I don't trust this uptrend just yet. This little bounce that we're having, I want to see a little bit more confirmation before I get excited about what's going on here. Now, one of the final things I want to show you here on the regular candlestick analysis is that we astutely, T-Shroom actually saw this morning in our planning. We saw something called a 3 black crows candlestick formation. And this is not a perfect example of a 3 black crows, because 3 black crows is essentially 3 equally sized candlesticks that are red. It's called 3 black crows and not 3 red crows. A little bit of trivia for you, because up until like 15 years ago, candlesticks were always black and white. No, that's not because like color television hadn't been invented yet. It was just the standard. And you can still make them black and white. It's still used quite a bit by stock traders. But when they were black and white, this would be a 3 black crows. Now you might call it a 3 red crows, but the name stuck.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
That's really interesting.
A little bit of trivia for you. Normally they were black and white back when stock market trends and everything were printed in newspapers. They were black and white just because that's the way it was. But the other thing you got to realize about 3 black crows is that these have a very long upper shadow on each of these. Generally speaking, 3 black crows, you want to see very low shadows. Why? Well, basically, if we see these big movements to the upside, it means, hey, the bulls are trying, the bulls are trying, the bulls are trying. Yeah, they got rejected, but they're trying. It basically means that the 3 black crows right here is not as strong as it could be. It does count but it's actually kind of getting invalidated right now by this bottom. If you see a bullish engulfing candlestick formation happen like this because right after the 3 black crows, you basically invalidated the 3 black crows, because these typically want to show up in the middle of a trend. They would typically predict the market's going to continue moving to the downside, and this is kind of saying, you know, that actually doesn't seem like it's happening. I know I just went and harped on the word invalidate, but if we do see something like this happen, then it's unlikely, I suppose I should say, not invalidated, that we're going to have a correction quite a bit further to the downside. Anyway, guys, let's jump back out to the daily chart and let's look at Lux Algo. It's another indicator that I love, and we're going to take a look at it right now. Let's take a look at what Lux Algo is saying. If we take a look here, we can see that there was a sell signal on the Lux Algo indicator, back on the 27th of October, but we never actually saw the trend catcher, which is this line right here, turn red. What does that mean? That basically means that the market flashed a sell signal, but we basically didn't see a very strong sell signal. In fact, the market right now is higher than it was when this sell signal came in, and this purple color indicates that this is a weak sell signal. We talked about this yesterday, but I'm just running it through for anybody who didn't see that stream. We can also see that the EQ cloud is expanding, and we're quite a bit above it. We're up here in between the bullish reversal zone and the EQ cloud, which is in the center. This area that we're in right now is called the bullish control zone. The fact that we're up here is a good sign, and it means that we're in a healthy uptrend. It means that we don't have anything to worry about just yet. We can see how the EQ cloud has caught the market before, but if it doesn't manage to catch the market, as it didn't over here in May, you can have a pretty major correction before you're eventually able to blast back through it. At the moment, the market actually looks pretty bullish on the daily chart, judging from Lux Algo. We can also see down here on the Lux oscillator, if I show you this, the last 3 days we have been bullish, and we are currently rounding. That is a good sign, even though we're having some mixed signals coming out of the daily chart. It basically means that the Lux oscillator is attempting to round out the bottom, attempting to tell us, hey, market's doing all right, don't get freaked out, we're solid. Moving on down here to the 4-hourly chart, we're going to see something similar, but kind of opposite. We saw a strong buy signal come in over here on November the 1st. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, oh, man, look, a strong sell signal followed by a strong buy signal. Which is it? Well, the thing that you got to realize is that there's 2 different types of markets. There are ranging markets where you're trading sideways, and then there's uptrending or downtrending markets. It's the difference between a range and a trend. We, over the last couple of weeks, have been in a trend. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We've been in a range, meaning that we're trading sideways. Any and every indicator gets confused when you're in a sideways movement. We talked about that earlier with several other indicators. Whenever the market is moving sideways, it's difficult for any kind of indicator to give you a solid perspective on which direction we're moving. But now that we've tried to move to the upside, we can start reading these signals and hopefully get some use out of them. Number one, there is a strong buy signal right here, and the market is green. That means that we're not seeing an indecisive buy signal. It means that we're seeing a strong buy signal. There are 2 different types to that. We can also see that the EQ cloud right down here, which serves as a level of support for Bitcoin, it looks like it is completely in alignment with 61,300, which is that level I've been harping on. And at the moment, it looks like Bitcoin is bouncing off of it. So Lux Algo is giving us a very powerful signal there that is incredibly helpful. We can also see down here on Lux Oscillator, it looks like the bottoms are rounding out. You can see the difference between these 2 bars and these 2 bars is much different. Basically, what we're seeing is that there is a rounding action going on right here. And you can even see over the last 2.5 weeks, or last 2 weeks, there have been consistently higher lows on Lux Oscillator, which basically tells us, hey, market's doing well. Don't freak out. We're in a trend. We're in a range, but we're hoping to see that range break and start moving to the upside. So pretty good here on the 4-hourly chart. We don't have a lot of conclusive signals, but it basically is telling us, hey, look, everything's fine. Just have patience. That's kind of what we're getting from the 4-hourly chart. Now, there's a different sign on the hourly chart. Remember, this is what I was talking about with nested trends is what I'm going to be calling them, just so that we can kind of make this clear. You can be bullish on the 4-hourly chart, bearish on the hourly chart, and bullish on the daily chart. You can have that happen. And it's going to happen all the time, and you can't get confused by that because that's just the way it is. Because on the 4-hourly chart, it looks like, okay, we're kind of bullish. We're setting up for more bullish momentum. But down here on the hourly chart, we have a sell signal, which actually turned red, meaning that this came in as a sell signal. But now, because it's red, it's actually a strong sell signal. That's what this candlestick coloring means. And we saw the trend catcher turn red, which basically is a confirmation of this sell signal right over here. I'll go ahead and just kind of close that so you can see it. And we've seen that but at the same time, which is a counter indicator to that, we've seen the oscillator start moving to the upside. So what are we seeing here? Basically, we're seeing two sell votes up here, and then a kind of a buy vote down here. Basically, what we're seeing is that there's indecision out of Lux Algo right now. We're trying to get back up above this center level here on the EQ cloud, but we haven't done it yet. And it makes sense that it would be indecisive because it's kind of hard to say, hey, we are in a strong uptrend or a strong downtrend when you're in neither. So it makes sense that there's a little bit of dissonance going on in our technical analysis right now, and that's not something that we should be worried about. We're not getting a very clear signal down from the hourly chart is all I have to say on that. Now, here's the thing you guys need to know. And I'm going to say this, then we're going to go into intermission, then we're going to discuss some of these fundamentals and news stories. Whenever multiple technical indicators disagree with each other, that's something that we call the dissonance of technical analysis. We have an entire video on it, and it is actually something that it happens quite a bit. If you're looking at 15, 20, 30 different technical indicators like we regularly do here on this show, and they're not all in alignment, which they almost never are going to all be in alignment, then you need to think about, okay, are there 17 technical indicators that are bullish and 3 that are bearish? Okay, the market's probably bullish right now. Are there 45 technical indicators that are bearish and 20 indicators that are bullish? The market is probably bearish right now, but it might not be very confident because it's kind of a close vote. If you see, okay, it's literally like 50-50 split. Half of them are saying, hey, we're bullish. Half of them are saying, hey, we're bearish. You might just not be getting a signal right there, and you might want to be careful about entering a trade. So it's very important that you look at multiple technical indicators, that you don't just trade by one technical indicator, and that you also don't fault technical indicators when one says one thing and another says another thing. They're mathematical equations. That's all they can do. It is your job and my job and our job as the analyst to interpret those signals and try and get a clear picture of what's going to happen next based on our intuition, our experience, and our knowledge of the space. With that said, let's go ahead and read some super chats and interact with the community, my favorite part.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm gonna start from ones we had before. I don't know why they're all yellow. I think Shannon turned them that way. But Jeremy Shorter said, been in crypto since April, up $1,200, learning great stuff from you and BitBoy. Thank you so much. Jeremy, just so you guys know, and this is something really, really big about what my belief is. I would love for you guys to be here every single day and subscribe. I would love for you guys to subscribe to this button. But in all reality, this is our entire company. We want you to learn. We want more people like that to be growing. If you learn from other people and us or whatever, and the truth is, if you don't learn from us, okay, you don't learn from us, then we're not helping you, and you need to find something else. But if you are being helped, come in and tune in every single day. That's what we really care about. Not chasing views, not chasing likes, although those are nice.
Yep.
We are chasing stories like that where people are up $1,200, where people are up 50%, where people are making life-changing gains, not only in crypto, but even in their life decision-making. We want people to be successful.
And guys, look, first of all, I just want to say, for everybody who is incredibly successful in cryptocurrency, I've been very blessed to be very successful in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I don't knock treating yourself. I think it's very, very important to treat yourself. But it's not my desire to help you get a fancy car. It's my desire to make sure that when your dad's in the hospital, there's money in the bank account. It's my desire to make sure, hey, your kid wants to go to and get a doctorate in physics. There's money in the bank account. When you got an emergency, there's money in the bank account. That's my mission, and my vision is for you to be financially free, not just from financial institutions that don't have your best interest at heart, but also from the trauma that comes with not having the money to do the things that you need to do. That's what we're here for. We want you to be free of that. If that's something that you can get behind, there's a subscribe button that you can click to support us and hopefully get more of that educational content.
Yeah. Another one from Corey saying, hey guys, I just saw some reports that some old cold wallets holding Bitcoin becoming active. Does that mean anything?
What reports?
Yeah.
I would have to see that. It depends. I can't really give you anything just off of that information. I'd have to see that. Do you guys have any information on that?
If you have a link or if you have something and you want to tag me in it so that I can pull
post
it up.
I don't know. Can they post links in the chat? I don't know if they can.
Yeah, people have posted links before.
Can they? Okay, cool. Post the link, and if for some reason you can't post the link, then just tweet it at us.
That or even send it to our support email, and if we can't talk about it on the show today, we'll take a look at it and talk about it in a future show. Murray Ruggiero. Okay. We're going Murray, though. I used to keep my coins on exchange, but was hacked recently, and now scared to buy crypto. Any hard wallet you recommend under $500?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, we have an affiliate link for Ledger products down below. If you want to sign up for that, it helps to support us. I use Ledger products for all of my cold wallet needs, and the Ledger Nano S is $60. The Ledger Nano X is $120. They're both phenomenal. The main reason you would get the $120 one is because it has you're able to store more cryptocurrencies on it. Basically, it has a larger. Basically, you can put more wallets on it. Both of them are phenomenal. They're industry leading. Ledger is the biggest name in hardware wallets, so you can check that out down below. Definitely encourage you guys to have a hardware wallet. Very, very important.
Last one, Rick4962 or Yard Dog just wanted to give $20, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Yard Dog.
Yard Dog.
Yard Dog.
All right, moving up to some ones that have been asked more recently. Sorry, we had one from Crypto Alchemist saying, could you fellas take a quick look at Elrond's TA? Just hit the all-time high today. Curious what the next steps look like. I have a good feeling about it long term.
A real good feeling?
A real good feeling? You got a real good feeling about it? I don't know. We can look at that a little bit later if we have some time, but we're going to have to stay on topic here. But I really appreciate that super chat, my friend, and hopefully we'll be able to look at it at some point in the future. Yeah. I think Elrond is a good project. I haven't done a lot of research into it, but I'm excited for you that it hit a new all-time high.
Yes. Let's see here. Jones Fundamentalist said, hi, Jebb. Great content as always. Just wanted to let you know that SPE, or Save Planet Earth, crypto community fully supports your channel.
Oh, well, thank you for that support. I appreciate that.
Keep going on. We got one from Midtown Cabinetry and Designs. Crypto is not for getting rich quicker. If it is done right, it's for getting rich. Wait, okay, hold on. Crypto is not for getting rich quicker. If it's done right, it's for getting rich quicker. Hodl. Okay,
is he saying for getting rich quicker or getting rich slower?
Well, I'm just reading what it says. And it says crypto is not for getting rich quicker. If it's done right, it's for getting rich quicker.
Well, there you go. It's for crypto is for gaining financial freedom is what crypto is for. So we really appreciate that.
I think a better way to even say this, if we could, it's not for getting rich quicker. It's for getting rich over the long term.
It's for getting
and changing your financial outlook.
I would disagree with that. I'd say it's for getting wealthy over the long term.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
I would say there's a difference there.
There's a big difference between rich and wealthy. I agree with you. I disagree with myself.
Yeah.
What if I just blindly agree with it? I just agree.
Oh, well,
those words look good.
Okay, cool.
Another one here from Brett saying, fantastic answer. Thanks, Jebb. Totally agree with your viewpoint on meme coins. I think it's terrible that newcomers are getting burned. Thanks for always spreading great and reliable information. Yeah, that's so true. And here's the thing, and I don't want to call, there's been some projects people asked us UTA on, and these are probably great projects. Elrond, for example, we have heard of that one. We know a little more about it. Don't look at TA every single day, but that's a good project. But when people come on here and say, can you look at my mother's brother coin that just opened up a month ago, and it's hitting all time. I'm like,
wouldn't that just be your uncle? Your uncle coin?
I was coming up with a ridiculous name because these coins have ridiculous names.
Some of them have crazy names.
We don't go deep into those, and it's because of what Brett just said. We do not want you guys burned. For all we know, that coin could go up 3,000%. Or 3,000x. We see coins do that. But it's just not calculated to invest there and to do a lot of research there, because if it goes up 3,000, it's probably going to come down 3,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and pivot into our final segment here. And actually, T-Shroom, if you don't mind, could you tell the audience a little bit about what happened with the Federal Reserve yesterday? Can you run them down through that?
Yeah, I can absolutely attempt to do that. So
cool.
This flag right here, the American flag, represents the United States.
America.
The country that we live in. It's a good one.
And that we love.
They instituted a Federal Reserve to help us control the monetary policy and the supply and demand of money. And Mr. Jerome Powell, who's the Fed chairman right now, he has decided that in a response to COVID-19, the pandemic, that they are going to buy up bonds in a large quantity, and they've done that for a long time now since that event, and it's been pretty significant. And they have now announced yesterday that they are going to continue to do that until sometime the middle of next year.
Yep. And
that process of buying those bonds stimulates the economy. It stimulates disproportionately the stock market, right? And it is very debatable whether or not it actually stimulates the economy. So that's where we are, and that it's generally a good thing for money markets, places where people concentrate and exchange instruments of finance, and so Bitcoin is one of those. And so we're happy. Ultimately, that's a positive outcome that he's going to continue the bond buying policy, but in the long term, it's not a good thing. It's going to be detrimental.
Yeah. So basically, what he's talking about is called QE. It's called quantitative easing. And what happens is that the United States Federal Reserve will buy bonds, mortgage-backed securities, things like that, and they'll basically buy these things from the open market. and they will literally pay for it in money that they just created out of thin air. They'll be like, okay, I want $10 billion worth of bonds. Here's $10 billion that we're going to deposit into your account, and we just made that up out of nowhere. It's not like the money that they are using came in from tax revenue. It's dollars that we just decided now exist, and that is how inflation happens. A lot of people talk about money printing. It's not as simple as running the printing press and making more U.S. dollars. What really happens is you type in a computer and you say, okay, we're going to buy this with this. It's complicated. I understand that. I know I'm oversimplifying it. I'm probably going to get hate in the comments for how I'm explaining this, but the point is, it's a way of injecting new liquidity into the economy, and we've injected many trillions of dollars into the economy over just the last couple of years. And what we basically saw from yesterday's the last 2 days Fed meeting is that tapering, which basically means that they're going to be slowing down that bond purchasing, is going to not be happening for at least another year, meaning that even more inflation is coming. So yes, it in theory stimulates the economy. QE has been used over the last 20 years, especially during the 2008 financial crisis. But the issue with that is that when you keep basically what it's like is like taking an aspirin for a massive wound. It's like taking aspirin for, like cancer. That's pretty much what we're doing. We're getting rid of the pain by treating the symptoms, which is a bloated financial system, by injecting liquidity into it. And you're actually just hurting yourself, because it's almost like the aspirin is also laced with poison. It gets rid of the pain, but it actually makes it even worse because you're not treating the underlying cause. And that's what we're seeing happen right now at the Federal Reserve. Tim, what is the impact of the Federal Reserve printing all of these dollars? Is it a good thing in the short term, bad thing in the long term, or is it overall just a bad thing in general?
Read the Bitcoin Standard. It's a terrible thing. It's based off of stupidity that they think is
correct. I like that.
The whole concept of why they do it was based off of this British, I don't even know what you call him, because he was nothing but read the Bitcoin Standard. He pretty much was just a wealthy kid who wasn't even he was born into a family with wealth.
Talking about Keynes?
Yes, and yeah. He just literally started coming up with solutions based off of what his brain wanted to say, and then who knows why people started listening to him, but it's now worldwide. Keynesian economics is used by most countries, and it's pretty stupid, and it's just one of those things that, like, time after time after time, I guess technically speaking, depending on who you are, it looks good on paper for that moment, but has shown to screw over the next generation every single time, and that's what we're reaping the consequences of right now.
And your dollar is worth less money today than it ever has been as a result. We have harped on inflation many times on this show. I will spare you my rants because, believe me, I could go on for a while because I'm ticked off by the fact that the dollars I have in my bank account are going to be worth a lot less next year because we don't know how to run an economy and we want to raise taxes. But where is $4 trillion a year in expenditure going? We don't know, because we just like wasting money on the federal government level. I could go all day. I'm not going to. But I would love to hear your opinions on that in the comment section. Tim, I got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
We have seen JP Morgan renew their $146,000 Bitcoin price prediction, which is really funny because the CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, hates Bitcoin, even though his analysts are saying it's going to nearly triple. We have a funny story that I want you to tell about one of our interns, Malachi, because he knows some people at JP Morgan. Can you tell that story?
Well, so here's the thing. So Malachi works in our marketing department. He's an intern. He's in the, I don't know what his degree officially is right now at UF, but he was
business
in finance.
administration, something like that.
Yeah, but so he has lots of friends and relationships with people in the finance world. So he has a friend that works at JP Morgan. And he was telling us like how this friend was like, yeah, I don't really know what Jamie Dimon is saying, which I'm not going to give names to this person. Don't want to get him fired. But he's like, I don't know what he's saying. Literally everyone who works here is buying Bitcoin. Everybody that is on staff and is looking at the numbers and is trying to make good, making correct investments is getting into Bitcoin. So even from an employee of JP Morgan, they are saying Jamie Dimon, and here's the thing, Jamie Dimon is not stupid. This backs up what our guess was a couple weeks ago. I think Jamie Dimon is saying one thing and doing the complete opposite, which is normal for the CEO of JP Morgan to do. Because it's not just him, it's his predecessor and the predecessor.
It's like part of the job description. If you want to be the CEO of JP Morgan, you have to be two-faced. That's just kind of how it goes.
So it's just funny, like that's our inside man, That's our
we got a dude. We have a guy at probably like a secretary position in JP Morgan. That's our guy. We have a guy, guys. Yeah, no, I think that. Let me ask you this, Tim. I wonder what Jamie Dimon's opinion is of the fact that in his own company he has analysts saying that that Bitcoin's gonna like 3x, even though he hates Bitcoin. What do you think? Do you think he like gets pissed off at his board? He's like, we gotta fire these people. We gotta shut down these divisions.
No, because I think he agrees with him. I think he just knows that if I say something, I can stir stuff up. First of all, he gets his name in the press.
Yep.
There are people who aspire to the thought of all press is good press, even if it's negative. And so it's just notorious because he knows some people know he's lying. He knows it. Yeah, he's not dumb, but he knows he's played the game long enough and he's learned from other people in his position. Hey, even if you say something that is dead wrong, you're going to get some suckers to fall for it, and you can profit off those suckers.
Yep.
So
that is exactly right. Well, let's go ahead and read some super chats.
Yeah, we have a couple more here. We got one from Desert Crypto. Wow, this is a fun word. The name is here, but could you look at... I don't know if he put these all together.
It's a joke.
It's a joke coin. I'm hoping.
Floki Doge Inu Safe Swap.
Yeah, that's a great one. No, we're not going to. But I'm assuming that was.
I assume that's.
I was assuming that was a joke anyway.
Yeah, but this is crypto. That might be a real project. I'm gonna check.
No, it probably is. But I'm assuming his super chat was a joke.
Yeah.
Desert Crypto's commented before, and he loves us. He's a supporter of the channel.
Murray, it doesn't exist.
Another one from Murray Ruggiero. I don't know which one is pronounced.
My favorite part, him not knowing how to pronounce people.
I used to keep my coins on exchange, but was hacked. Wait, did I already read this one? Yeah, we did. We read that one already. I don't know why I didn't have that one deleted. It popped up again. Well, Murray, you got it read again. So
there you go.
Two reads for you.
Shout
out.
All
right. We have one. I'm not going to read the full name, but I'm going to read parts of his name. Jedi Bates.
Why can't you read the rest of it?
I don't want to. Love the show.
Is it a pronunciation thing or is it something we don't want?
It is an inappropriosity thing.
Oh, okay.
Love the show. Great content each and every day. I'm super hyped for the remainder of this year.
An inappropriosity thing.
I like that.
You didn't even pronounce his name and you still managed to screw up the pronunciation of something.
I purposely used a word that doesn't
Inapropriosity.
exist.
I think as Tim was saying that, it was changing in the dictionary.
Look it up.
Every dictionary in the world just magically updated. It was like a Harry Potter thing.
Listen, man.
It's there.
We creatives, we got to add to the world. If you confine yourself to the box that the world tries to put you in, you
that
don't
wasn't
go
a touchdown, Tim. I'm sorry.
Listen, hashtag inappropriosity. It's a thing.
Oh my goodness,
it's taking over.
I guarantee you, the chat here is going to
drop a 1 in chat if you want that to be a word.
Anyway, keep moving on. Christy said, "Jebb, what do you think about Nervos?"
I've heard of it. Haven't looked into it. You guys, it's funny. It feels like it's another part of the segment. Jebb saying, hey, I haven't looked into that. I'm not a small cap altcoin guy. I want to become a small cap altcoin guy and read into more of them. But you also got to realize I am a content creator and I'm a CEO, and pretty much all I do all day is work. So I want to do more research on some of these smaller cap projects. It's just not the way that it's not my personal philosophy. So, that's just the way it is. So, yeah.
Here we go. One from Plexico saying, hi, Jay and team. So he's really being efficient with the lettering. He said, any holiday discounts on your course? Thank you, from Duncan.
You never know. You never know. We shall see. But if you want to get CT2A, the link is in the description box down below, and you can set up your account with 3 individual payments rather than 1 big payment. You can do that with the link down below if you are interested. Well, with that said, Tim, is that all the super chats? I think that's all of them.
I'm digging to make sure that there's no more.
I think that's all of them.
Also, just so you know, people in chat think that it was a touchdown. So,
do they?
Inappropriosity, it's a thing. Spread the word.
Gotcha.
We're going to add it. Listen, the amount of ridiculous words that have been added to the dictionary this year alone,
that's true.
I feel like inappropriosity would not be the worst offender.
You're probably right.
So,
the worst offender was when literally had its definition changed to metaphorically because of all of these back in the day Viners, but nowadays it just means, oh my gosh, literally, like it literally got changed to, and I mean the old definition of literally, it literally got changed to basically what the definition of metaphorically means. That's an example of where we're going as a society. Nevertheless, we have one more super chat from Sasson. Donating said, can we look at ETH BTC chart? It looks like it's about to break from a 4-year trend. We will probably look at that at some point in the future.
A 4-year trend. I haven't been looking in that sense. Just so you guys know, real quick, I've been doing this a lot. It is in an ascending triangle, but I have not looked at it necessarily from like a weekly or monthly chart perspective. I look at it mostly from the daily and 4-hourly and so on and so forth. But that is interesting. Just short prediction right here, Jebb. I think Ethereum has been doing phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
But I do believe, and this doesn't mean Ethereum's going to go down, but I think that we're actually going to see Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin's price is about to go crazy, and I think that Bitcoin's about to start outperforming Ethereum again. But just Cardano's suppressed again today. Just do not be surprised within the next couple of weeks if that 80 over Bitcoin, 80 over Ethereum chart jumps and blows up. It's been down here for a little bit, and what goes down will come back up. So
absolutely it will. Tulips by Maria said, I appreciate you and your team so much. Thank you very much. And then I Heart the Bit Squad donated, said, please warn people about that Catalab scam. Guys, there are so many scams in the cryptocurrency market. Please be careful. Please be careful. And then the Beholder also donated, said, hey, Jebb, you should try and do something with Elio trades. Gaming cryptos are coming up big. I'm not sure who that is. I think, is that another content creator? Yeah, we love collaborating. So, guys, that is all we got for you today. Tim, what are our price predictions for the end of the week?
Yes. So, again, Jebb is sitting in a nice spot, but
I'm pretty sure I'm going to win.
We got 23 hours now.
We got 23 hours.
Jebb's prediction of 64,500 is the lowest, and if he is right, that is 3 wins in a row, and you will be the winner of the HODL Trophy.
Drop a 1 in chat if you want me to win the HODL Trophy again.
T-Shroom is just barely above him at 65,420. I am sitting at 67,300. I need a good rally to win. That's okay. Smay needs a miracle, but I believe miracles exist. He wants 69,000 tomorrow in 23 hours. We shall see. I think that Jebb and T-Shroom are the front runners, but anything's possible. Anything, like Bitcoin, anything's possible.
Pretty sure I'm going to win this one, but we shall see. Guys, if you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on what's going on right now in Bitcoin. And we're trying to educate you so that you can become financially free in these markets. It's not going to be easy, but we can guide you. We have done it ourselves, and we have helped a lot of people get there. And also remember, today's show was brought to you by Cipher. If you want to sign up for that indicator, you can find the link in the description box down below. It is part of our daily lineup of indicators that we look at. It's a good thing to get a wide perspective of different views on the market, and Cipher gives you some help in that area. That's all I got for you today, guys. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.